All right, we are live and in living color. Welcome to another fantastic episode of This Week in Reselling, where we interview special guests each and every week from different walks of life in the reselling world. Here we'll discuss the highs and lows of reselling and dive into great conversation. And we are positive that you're going to hear something that's going to help you become a better reseller. My name is Ray, and I am your host this evening, and I am joined by two lovely ladies. We have Terry Evolving Farmhouse and Noonie Bird Terry as well. So we doubled Terry's. How many I's is that? Do you guys spell both your Terry's the same way?
No. I have one R and she has two.
Okay, but there's still an I at the end though, right?
Yes.
Okay, no
Not
Y.
a Y. Not a Y.
That's more like of a male Terry, right?
Ish.
Right? Okay. All right. But girls, thank you so much for joining me this evening and making time to be on here. As you can see, I had to pull my my Noonie cowboy hat. There you go. Farmhouse is being a little jealous. We just got to get you a cowboy hat.
I'll try to find one on Whatnot.
There you go. There you go. So I know that I just go ahead and preface this, but for the people that are listening and watching this at home, again, all the information to the Nashville meetup is down there in the description. And girls, I would love to see you here in April, but if you can't make it, there's always next year. This is the first year that we're doing it, and it's been interesting to say the least. I've had two sponsors approach me wanting to put in funds. So officially, the Nashville 2024 reseller meetup is now sponsored by My Reseller Genie and Vendu. So make sure to give them a shout out. Tell them that Ray from the Nashville Flipper sent you. But girls, we're here for y'all. We're here to, I know that last week we talked to Paul and Jen about Whatnot. And these two women right here are amazing Whatnot sellers that basically have, I don't know if it's so weird. The Whatnot platform is just so interesting to me. And then it just keeps getting better and better, in my opinion. But before we dive into more Whatnot talk, and I know a lot of people, are probably screaming at me and it's like, oh, another Whatnot show, Ray, what do you got going on here? But I really want you guys to understand how different of a platform this is. And I know this is coming off the news, and I don't know if you girls resell on any other platforms, but Mercari recently changed their terms of service as of today.
Yeah.
And one of the things that they're doing is that there'll be no selling fees going forward, but the buyer will be picking up those fees when they purchase something. So, which to me is kind of weird. Like, why, as a buyer, would I have to pay more to purchase something on this platform?
Right.
Right.
No, but
I think it's definitely going to help hurt them on the buyer's end, because the buyers will just find somewhere else to purchase.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking. And so it's going to be a seller heavy platform and not necessarily buyer.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like more like the race to the bottom kind of thing. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. So, but Terry Evolving Farmhouse, tell us a little bit about you. Are you a reseller technically, or are you more like a Whatnotter? Like, tell me how like that evolution, and because I don't know much about you. I know that we've met each other through Jen and through Paul. So I really want to know how you even got on the platform, and you're doing interesting things on there. So for the people that have no idea who you are, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I actually started reselling online about 13 years ago. All the basics, the two E's and then the P and then the M, and I do all of those. And I started buying on Whatnot about 2 years ago, and I was actually buying to resell on other platforms. That was back when they had the dollar shipping, and you could just load a massive box, And again, it was more of a buyer's playground at that point, because Whatnot was just really kind of up and coming, and it was fun to join in, and it was something new, and as a buyer, I like to see what I was buying. I felt a little more secure in that purchase.
Mhm.
And then about the beginning of last year, people started going, "Hey, you need to come to Whatnot. You need to come to Whatnot. We love you." So I already had like a little mini following before I even became a seller. I actually just became a seller in June of last year.
Oh, okay.
It's June of last year.
Did that
And I
following
have
I hate to interrupt you, but that following, like, where did it come from? Just from all the selling
just from the
platforms?
fact that I would chat people up,
From
and
the P and from the M that you like to call it,
yeah, well, yeah, sure.
or the
People,
E.
people knew who I was.
Okay.
So, but and I just became a seller in June, and I had probably about 500 followers when I became a seller. But I just want to make it clear, because I watched the podcasts with you and Jen and Paul.
Mhm.
You do not have to have a social media following to be on Whatnot. I created my social media for my business after I became a seller on Whatnot.
Mhm.
So, and at this point, I'm close to 10,000 followers and close to 10,000 sales just since June. So there's always that possibility. My agreement to come on to Whatnot was, though, because I wanted to go in liquidation mode. I have a 2,600 square feet. Basically, I took over the entire bottom level of my house. It was packed full of stuff, just
Yikes.
stuff. And I wanted to liquidate it. So I was having shows, starting everything at like $3,
Mhm.
new with tag, vintage, whatever. And surprisingly, Paul Philly Flippers, one of the first people to ever truly support me. He would have people raid me. He would come in and just chat. He would tell people about me. I guess I was his Ray Dunn dealer. So
Ah.
um, so it kind of helped to have those connections along the way. And then it just really kind of grew from there. Now, of course, at this point, I'm no longer in liquidation mode. I still liquidate some stuff, but it's now I'm starting to have to source again. And Whatnot is a different beast, because you have to source differently for Whatnot than you would a
Yep,
different platform.
Mhm.
for sure.
Mhm. I love it. I love it. So Noonie, tell me a little bit
Yeah.
about you too, and then we'll get really into the meat and potatoes of this conversation, because I really want to get you guys' perspective on a bunch of different things. So for the people that may not know you, Noonie, tell me your origin story. Tell me how you became the
Uh,
superhero that is Noonie Bird.
I don't know if I'm a superhero, but um, I was a heavy buyer. My dog decided to join us.
What's
So
your dog's name?
that's actually my daughter's dog, and my daughter gets very jealous when she's around me. So my daughter's not
Oh,
here. She is, but that's Poppy.
oh,
Um,
Poppy.
so
I was just checking if my dog was back there, but he's not.
no, my other one, my male one, he'll be in here shortly, but she's a stalker. She loves me to pieces.
Mhm.
I sold before I came to Whatnot. I've been on Whatnot 2 years actually next month, but a seller for about a year and a half. I was a heavy buyer before becoming a seller, and I sold on other platforms. I still worked full time at my other job, and I just didn't like taking photos, waiting for someone to bid. And then I thought, you know what? I don't know. I don't remember how I came across Whatnot. But then I started making friends and Whatnot, started buying. And then I liked the fact that you can kind of like build a relationship with people that were, sellers. And I found great friends. I found a really good, one of my best friends on here too. And I thought, I have too much stuff. I need to get rid of this stuff. I ended up having a ton of stuff in the house. I had to get a storage unit. I thought, you know what? I
Oh
kind of
man.
like I kind of like interacting with people too. And I thought, let me just try selling. And so I became a seller in November of 22.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. November of 22. So it's
Yeah.
been
A year and a half.
a year and a half.
Yeah.
And did you sell on any other reselling platforms before or whatnot?
I did. I sold on the E, the P, and the M. I did okay. I wasn't aggressive about it because I have a full-time job. So I was like, yeah, let me just make some extra money. But I started getting lazy about taking photos. And I thought, this is too much work. And I just kind of gave up.
Okay.
And then I found
Now,
Wi-Fi.
now both of you, we currently have full-time jobs, or are we
I do.
doing this?
This is my full-time gig.
This is great. So Noonie, so you have a full-time job and you're
Mhm.
doing this,
Yes.
on part-time, which I'm in that same boat. And
It's a lot of
so
work.
Farmhouse, you're 100% on this full-time. This is how you make your living.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So
Yeah.
so let's talk about, let's just again, let's the beginning of stages of selling on Whatnot, and that's the hardest part about getting your community and getting
Yep.
those people interacting with you at first. And my good friend Jimmy Old School Flips, he's in and out of Whatnot. Yesterday he had a Whatnot when she was on the garage sale train that you guys do, and he's usually in, he's usually out, but he's very like, I don't know if this is going to work. And one of the great points that he brought up is that when he's on Whatnot and he's selling something, if he doesn't get people to start buying, it kind of feels like it's kind of like a waste of time for him. So it's like
Yeah.
he's wasting that hour or wasting that whatever. And even before, listing the items, prepping everything for the show, it just becomes to be like a big waste of time. So a lot of people fall off of that. So
Yeah.
what are some things that a new seller can do to just kind of negate that, to where, like, you guys, when you first got started, like, was it growing pains as well, or was it just like you guys just got lucky and your personalities just shine through and you became amazing sellers? So tell
Eric?
us a little bit about, like, give us some tips, and how was it when you guys first got started? Was it like like growing pains? Like, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, my first show actually went really well. I had a goal to sell like 3 items, and I sold half of what I posted. And I did small shows in the beginning, like 30, 40 items. So
Mhm.
I felt like I had this tremendous success. But you also have to remember, I was coming on in liquidation mode. So I'm selling you like brand new Ray Down for $3. It's hard not to sell that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
So and I think that's really one of the biggest hurdles is being able to offer a really great item at a really great price. Because when people come to Whatnot, they're looking at you, they're looking for a couple of things. One is going to be that item that they truly want at a price that is lower than other platforms that makes them want to be there. Or they're going to come to you because they like you, and getting people to like you, I think, is the hardest part of Whatnot. The social media aspect, unless you just have this glowing personality, it's the hardest part. So it's probably one of the hardest parts for me, even though half the time people don't realize it. Or because they just follow, they have the feels. The feels are the kind of the best types of buyers, but we can talk about that a little later. So, consistency. I think having regularly scheduled shows at certain days, certain times, and doing them over and over so buyers know when to find you. Going into other shows, and this does not mean purchasing. People kind of get confused because new sellers feel like they have to spend a lot of money in another seller's room just to get attention. A lot of us, especially those of us that believe in the Whatnot community, we don't feel that way. We just want you to come in and talk to us, come in and hang out, come in and get that chat rolling, because the algorithm on Whatnot, that's how it works. The more people that are talking, the more people that are hitting those buttons, the more people they send to our shows, So it's important that, you make your presence known. The people that you've been buying from, if you were already a buyer, go in there and let people know that you just became a seller. People like me and Jen and Noonie, if you tell us you just became a seller and you're excited, most of the time we will follow you. We will go bookmark your show. We'll pop in if we're not busy doing something. We show support back. So you just have to remember that it's important, especially for a newbie, to go and get to know other sellers. Now, not all sellers are going to be like that. There's definitely some heavy hitters on Whatnot that don't raid people after shows, and that's just the crutch. But find those that are friendly, that talk to you and talk in their streams, and just go in there and let them know who you are. Let them know what you're facing, and they'll help you build that audience simply by maybe raiding into you or just popping in. Because I know, me for one, I will check, the activity sometimes and see who my friends are hanging out with. And I'll
Uh-huh.
just go hang out with them. Even if I don't follow them, I'm like, hey, this person must be cool. There's like 2 or 3 friends in their room. So,
That's called
you know,
stalking, Terry. That's
no,
called
no,
stalking.
just a little, just a little.
So Noonie,
Okay.
what kind of tips could you give someone that's first starting off that maybe you experience, because you both have interesting selling models on Whatnot, because Noonie, you'll go for like I
20
don't
hours.
know, like
20 hours.
all
No,
day,
average, I usually go about 8 hours.
8 hours. So you're putting in a shift on
Yeah.
Saturdays, and then at Farmhouse, you're just doing consistent shows like all throughout the week.
Yep.
So it
So
equals about the same,
two
because
different, two
I can only
completely
do.
different ways to do it and be
Yeah.
successful on the platform.
Yep.
Yep.
And so back to my original question, Noonie, like for when you first got started, like how were you able to grow and how were you able to get people in your streams? Because you're going for 8 hours and you're selling, was it always an 8 hour show? Like how did
Well,
that, like, tell us a little bit about that.
so this didn't, so I'm so grateful and so like blessed for what's been happening to me lately. It didn't happen overnight. So I've been a seller for a year and a half. When I first started, it was kind of like a fun thing. I would do my late night shows because I loved hanging out with the late night ladies, and it was more of a social hour for me. And I would sell, a little bit here and there. And my shows would be probably around 10 in the evening, 11 in the evening till probably 3, 4, 5 in the morning. However, and I did that for some time. I sold stuff. I wasn't very busy, but it was the social interaction that I loved about that. So then I don't know what changed, but I thought, you know what? I want to start making some more money. I want to start being consistent. I want to start really enjoying this. I mean, I enjoyed it, but start getting rid of stuff too. And then
Getting serious about it.
Yeah, getting serious. And I thought, you know what? It was trial and error. I tried different days of the, I thought, you know what? Let me try during the week. Let me try a couple mornings. It went okay. Cause you just got to really kind of find your people, find the time that works best. And then, so I did try during the week in the mornings. I wasn't serious about it. I thought one time I just said, you know what? Let me try Saturday mornings. I'm not working at my regular job. But it was 7 a.m. I thought I'm going to get up super early. And ever since then, it just worked. And I stayed consistent because before I was random. So people didn't know when I would come on. So it's kind of like a pop-up. And if you don't have the following, people don't know when you're coming on. So it's kind of like a TV show. If you know every Friday night, 7 o'clock at night, your favorite show's on, you're going to make sure no matter what you're doing, you don't want to miss it. And so, that's something that I think is important too, to kind of be consistent. For me, that's what's worked for me, and finding your people.
I mean, consistent. It sounds like that's the number one thing is being consistent
for me
on your, And I know that, when we first start, because, I was selling the consumer electronics category. And when we first got started, we would do one show a week, or we'll do a show, take a week off, and then do another show. But we never got really like any steam until we started going one show at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock every Saturday consistently. As my dog is looking at me like, hey, consistently. And that's when we started to actually start growing. But now it's interesting how I'm kind of in this weird little boat, which I want to give your guys perspective on this. So our Saturday shows, which are in the electronics category, they do great. We make, always like $1,200, $1,300. We like our best show has been like a $2,400 show, and that's like in 2 or 3 hours. So, but now that I really want to grow in the garage sale, estate sale category because of this, it's springtime. Because I started it's been almost a year. I started March of last year. And so I really want to grow into that space just because garage sales are coming up and I want to be able to really go to garage sales with Whatnot in mind for the first time. And I want to be able to grow in that platform. But it's like I'm starting over. And it is frustrating because it's like I have this good stuff, but I'm like, I'm not getting anybody to bid. I'm not, so it's like, should I just do electronics on the yard sale to get stuff going? Or I don't know. So I'm like, I'm looking to just kind of maybe get some like, what advice would you give me for someone that is trying to grow in a new category? And then I'm part of a raid train too, so the times fluctuate, but I know that I'm doing it like every Thursday, so that could be an issue as well that I'm thinking about. But what are your thoughts and perspective on that?
I can say, for me, because I'm kind of like in your shoes, what I've been thinking about. Because I have so much house goods and I love buying the house goods, and I've been kind of sprinkling a little bit of it into my regular shows to give a taste of the people that really, and even just to see if people like what I pick up. Not so much like a teaser, but kind of like, hey, and I'm so random. My shows are never like coordinated or, perfect by no means, but I'll say, hey, I'll go out of the room and go bring stuff in, like, if you guys like it, I'll run it, and so that's kind of a good way to get feedback and see if it's going to work for you. But just whoever is your consistent followers, show them a little bit of what you're trying to venture out to, and then they'll probably follow you as well in that category.
Yeah, I've been sprinkling in a lot of stuff into the and it does well when I'm doing those shows, but when I don't do them in that category, it just kind of falls flat. And it could be the day, or I don't know. I feel like I'm thinking too much about it, and I just need to just kind of like still consistently like go, and then try to grow and see where it goes from there. And I got to remember, it took me a year to gain that following in that category, and I've been only doing this category for maybe less than a month. So I'm getting a little bit impatient, but I know that it could be way better. But Farmhouse, do you have anything to add to that?
New categories are difficult. So when I decided to get into women's contemporary, and you have to remember, I came from like the home and garden section. It was like a disaster walking. So I couldn't sell clothes to save my life. So my biggest question to you is going to be, are you as passionate about selling in the garage sale as you are in the electronics category?
I feel like I'm more, to be honest.
Really?
Some of the stuff that I find is like, to me, it's awesome, but then like electronics, it is what it is. You know what you're getting,
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing your garage sale train?
Not very long. I think we started, it's been maybe, this Thursday will be the 4th week, I believe.
Oh, you've got some growing time. Yeah, definitely.
But that's what I'm saying, Terry. I feel like I'm very impatient, because I know, like, when I see like Paul like selling like a banana for like $40, I'm like, why isn't this like one of a kind action figure not selling for more than $3?
It also has a lot to do with the person, though. Let's be honest. That's where Whatnot comes into the social aspect. There are sellers on here that have this most loyal following. They will give you $100 for something that you could go on the bay and pay $40 for. Let's be honest. If somebody loves you, they're going to pay you more. That's really where Whatnot falls into. You have to make people like you. So you just need to find your people. You need to find people that like your personality. You coordinate with maybe some other people that are in that category, say, hey, don't feel bad asking people to tag people. We got some really cool stuff coming up. Make sure to tag some friends. It works. I promise. I had to do that earlier today during my daughter's garage sale. I'm like, hey, she's got a bunch of crafting stuff. You guys tag your crafting people. And she had a sold out show. So, sometimes you just have to ask your the people that are watching, hey, would you mind, just maybe if you know somebody that would like this, give them a tag.
When you mean tag, when you say tag, for the people that may not know,
tag your friend, put their
during the
username,
show, like at Evolving Farmhouse or at Noonie, come over here.
I get tagged in shows all the time because people know what I love.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. So, okay. So I just got to be a little more patient and start growing.
And wear a banana.
Right?
Or I might get in trouble for saying this. Or you can do what your friend did in his garage sale train and add a bunch of beautiful women in there, and
true.
And bigger sellers to like Noonie to draw people in.
Yeah, that's true. So there is. So go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I think it's important that's a very good point, because sometimes people don't know you as well, but they trust the people that they're following, that, hey, if Evolving Farmhouse is part of this, then I love Terry, so I'm going to follow this train. I'm going to follow and see where she's at too. So that's a huge point right there. It's not so much bringing spotlight to you, but the people trusting and liking who they're following to go into wherever they're being led to,
Okay.
you know?
Now, no, you kind of talked about this a little bit. How important is the inventory and how important is the seller on this platform? Is it 50-50? Is it 70-30? Like, what are we thinking here? And can everybody be a seller on Whatnot?
No.
Because there's people on here that, so let's talk about that. Because the reason why I would say 80% of resellers that sell on other platforms like eBay, they just are like hermits, and they just want to list it, forget about it, and then just kind of like do their own little thing, right? So they don't necessarily have a very outgoing personality, or they're entertaining or any way. Like, do you think that is super important to be successful on this platform?
I don't think some of my favorite shows to go in the mornings are the ones where they're calm. So yeah, I do. I like Noonie. Noonie's fun, but she's super calm. She's very serene. So I like watching Noonie in the mornings. Whereas, somebody who's like super hype and really pushing, I'll watch those kind of people in the evening times. So I think Whatnot has an audience for both, the calm and also the really hyped up person. The people that may struggle are the ones that are not personable, because you have to be able to talk with your buyers. You have to be able to connect with them. If you ignore your buyers, eventually they're going to go away. So, when somebody's talking in the chat, and I hate that, especially when we're doing the really quick trains and stuff, and I'm missing people in chat, I feel like I'm not catching it. But if it's a normal show where I can see, I want to connect with the people coming in my room, because it makes them happier and they want to stay in the room. I promise you, if you ignore your buyers, eventually you're going to lose them.
Yeah. People want to be acknowledged, for sure.
So that's a great tip right there. And I want to make sure to spotlight that is the the people on the other side of the screen here, the buyers, it's a what do they call it? Like a relationship that both people can benefit from. I don't symbiotic relationship. I think that's what it's called.
Yep.
But how? So would you say that would be the biggest tip, is to make sure that the chat, that you're there for the chat, and don't ignore the chat, and make the chat be like your friends, basically.
It's a buddy system. And I mean, you're not going to love everybody, but you do have to respect everybody. Right. And other than that, bring good stuff. If you bring junk, like if you bring I should be donating this to Goodwill pile, chances are nobody's going to buy it anyway. So, your items do definitely matter. They do definitely matter. But, people joke about me all the time, and I'm sure they do about Jen and people like that, is, we could bring anything and probably sell it, because we get excited about it and we pump you up and we make you want to buy it. I've seen people sell a freaking Band-Aid here on Whatnot. It's all about, if you get that chat pumped up, they will buy anything from you. If they like you, they love you. It don't matter. I can tell you, I'm going to sell this straw, and if the chat is hype and they're having a good time, they know it's a used straw. They're probably going to throw away, but they'll still give me $1 for it,
It's the entertainment that you're buying too. People love to entertain, and they love to just participate. It's a huge participation app, and I think that's so important for people to be involved. And some people just want to sit back and watch, and that's okay. But people thrive and love, and I love to just be involved and chat and do the bidding, whether it's over a toothpick, whether over it's a straw, whether it's over toenail clippings, just to, just kind of like the craziest things you can see on Whatnot. People buy and bid against it, but it's just the participation and the fun and, yeah. I
It's
think
kind
it's
of like
huge.
when we used to have to buy coffee before tips came out, right? We
Oh,
we
yes,
Yeah.
just want to show
exactly.
some support.
Crazy,
Yeah.
right? Pay for
Like,
shipping and everything. Like
yeah,
what?
right. Yeah. That's interesting for sure. But so let's talk about sourcing for Whatnot. So what are y'all's different avenues? And I'm sure, of course we don't give out industry secrets here, but I know like Noonie, like, are you just selling women's clothes, and you say you're, dabbling into selling some home goods,
I
but that's
buy
gotta be
everything.
hard to find consistent inventory for 8-hour
Mm-mm.
stream.
Well,
Like, how many items do you sell on your normal shows?
over 100 for sure.
Over 100 items.
Yeah, over 100. This last time, Paul challenged me to 200, which I hit, but I typically give away 20 to 30 giveaways every show. So I was probably like at 175, 180. But that's so by the time that my shipment comes around, I have about maybe on an average about 70 packages going out after a show.
Mhm.
And some of them are my repeat buyers. Like one lady, she had 19 items in there, so the box is like humongous. So I love sourcing. I could go every day. I'm very blessed that I have so many great sources within 5 minutes for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you probably go every day, and then you have the mindset of, okay, I know this person probably likes
Mhm.
this, so I'm gonna
Mhm.
buy this, and
Mhm.
this person probably likes this. And something that Paul and Jen brought up is that you sometimes put like outfits together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
I
like
love doing that.
you put a look
I love it.
together, which is, my wife, her last job, she was like, she worked at a clothing store where she did like all the merchandising. So it's like
Mhm.
she picked out what the mannequin wore, and then so many times people would just come in and be like, I just want what the
Right.
mannequin is wearing. They don't
Yep.
want to even think about it. They're like, I want that look.
Yeah.
So that's a good way for people that are listening right now. And it's like, if you're selling clothing, maybe throw, even if it's a men's shirts, it's like maybe throw a hat in there. It's like, this will look really good
Mhm.
with this ball cap, or this will
Yep.
be really good with these
Exactly.
shoes. So it's just like kind of give them an idea, and
Yeah.
make the, I don't know, what do you call it, like in the store where you make the average checkout price increase when
Mhm.
you're adding that in. But
Right.
so Farmhouse, like, what is your sourcing strategy?
I source everywhere. I hand
Everywhere.
source, I thrift, yard sale season's almost around the corner. During yard sale season, we'll generally pick up enough items that we probably could just sell those items for 3, 4 months, right? So we're on
Wow.
we're right on the corner of like 3 different states. But we literally, everyone's usually about once or twice a month. Well, it used to be once or twice a month. The last couple winter sucks, but in the summer we'll drive, all the way out to Omaha or Nebraska or South Dakota. We'll go like once a week or every other week and just do massive sourcing. Um, it's a lot, but I've got my hands in too many pies right now. So that's
Mm.
something that we talked
What kind
about
of
on my
pie? What kind
spill.
of pie is it? Apple,
so
cranberry.
so I started the app in vintage and pottery, and then
Mhm.
I went to women's contemporary, and I didn't like selling clothes, but I have pallets of clothes, so eventually I have to sell my clothes. But then somehow I got sponsored in the beauty section, which was like, I don't know how that happened because I don't wear makeup. So we've been doing that for quite a while. But food is kind of my passion, right? You can tell. You can tell. Um, so we do have.
Which I want in on that raid train. I want in on that
I
food raid
birthed
train for sure.
Foodie Friday, right? So the last
Yeah.
Friday of every month, everybody gets so excited. We go from 10 a.m. in the morning to 10 p.m. at night. And, I've never, to this day, fingers crossed. Now it is on Good Friday this week, but everybody has a really good time. Everybody
Mhm.
makes a lot of sales and they have a lot of fun, and they get to know, for some people it's a new category, but for most people, they've dabbled in the snack category. And I will tell you, there is not a snack on Whatnot that will not sell. People buy everything, right? It's just
Crazy stuff too. Crazy stuff.
What's the
people
craziest
love
thing you've
food.
ever seen sell besides like the Band-Aid and the belly button lint and
Or the vulva pot.
the oh was it like a vase, right?
Yeah, it was great though. It was
Yeah.
freaking
The
fantastic.
Georgia O'Keeffe pot.
That's right. It was amazing. I love the weird and the odd, man. I just
Yeah.
do. I dig all the weird stuff. I collect oddballs and oddities, and if people pull out something like a headless freaking doll or something, I'm there. So, it's just my personality. I don't know. What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen, Noonie?
I think it was like because they had a weird raid train recently where they were selling like lint, belly button lint, or something like
Yeah.
crazy stuff like that, and people were buying it. Like, all right,
Farts in the
just
jar.
yes, like crazy stuff. And it's all for the fun and game because I don't know. There may be some weird fetishes out there, but
That is true. That is
it's
true.
just
Bath water.
it's crazy what people buy, but I think a good portion of it is for entertainment value, because I would love for someone to gift someone in the chat something crazy like that and see the response of whoever got it, be like, oh my, thank you, I guess, but then people become known for like odd or funny things. Like we love Hanger and she's known for the toilet seats, which is brilliant. You know what I mean? It's like, so we all have our own little niche of funny stuff that, most of us, that we like to kind of sprinkle in. I like to be kind of odd and goofy. I mean, I'm that way all the time, but like selling stuff, I think it's brilliant when people come up with it. It keeps people on their toes.
There you go. I like it.
Like your single ladies show? That was hilarious. I love that.
Tell us about your single lady show.
Oh, it was just because we did a feet raid train. And, I being working full time, sometimes I can't come up with things until the last minute. I was like, what can I do? And so I thought, I have a bunch of single socks, those single ladies. And my daughter actually keeps them in a box in a room. We call it the single ladies. And so I thought, okay, well, people aren't going to want a single sock. So let me just put little tickets or whatever inside. And then whatever single lady they pay for, they'll get a surprise, and they pay for the sock. That was the rule. They pay for the sock and they get the item for free. So it wasn't like a mystery box that I had to do the, all the details. It was, they paid for the sock and they get a free gift.
Oh, that's so smart. So that's a good point. That brings me to my next point here. So the app is so inducive to creativity.
Yes.
Like, how can you sell something but like be creative about it? And like people's different games and
I know.
mystery things. It's like it's so like it's fun.
Yeah.
Which I think that separates every other reselling platform, to where the social aspect, the fun aspect of this. So I guess that's like another thing. If you really wanted to start doing, it would kind of help you grow as a seller. If you're like doing all these fun and innovative, quirky shows that you guys were talking about, which I think it's awesome. But let me ask you girls this question. So if you had 3 things that you wish you knew when you first wanted to come on the app, the tips that you can give somebody new, what would be those 3 things?
Terry?
I'll let you. I know for
I'm
one of my.
I'm trying to calm. The first thing I wanted to say, I'm not going to say.
Say it.
What is it?
Come on now. You can't say it and not say it.
Yeah, you can't do it. Not.
The first thing is going to be stay out of the drama. Just like with any social media platform, Whatnot is full of drama. It's full of it. We love it, but just you know what? It's best just to stay out of it. It is. It will make you a happier person. It will make your buyers happier people. So just do it. And you're lucky because the category you're in, low key. But when you come to the women's side of things, it gets a little toasty.
I
right?
guess that's one of the double-edged swords of a social like reselling platform like this is that you have the good stuff, and then you have to deal with stuff like that.
Yeah,
like if
right.
you really, people can be people be peopling.
People,
You know what I mean?
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we all have feelings, and that's something you need to remember. We all have feelings.
Yeah.
We don't know their feelings, so
Mhm.
why antagonize their feelings? Number two is oh goodness. Please don't go on Whatnot if you're having a bad day.
Oh,
Please don't go. If you're having a really bad day and you're in a really bad mood, and you just want to be mean to somebody, don't go on Whatnot. I have made that mistake one time. I was not my happy-go-lucky self, and it was probably the worst show I've ever had. You're not
people
going to have
saw
a really
right
good
through
show.
it.
Yeah, you're just going to
Yeah.
run through it. You're just going to be done. You're going to lose your bookmarks. And what's the point, right? What's the
Yeah.
point?
Mhm.
And if you just need to pep me up, make that show into a chat show. A chat show is okay. You can go on and just have a conversation, right?
Yeah.
You can go on and just, kind of like, it's okay to talk about yourself. Talking about yourself is
Mhm.
different than talking about other things and other people. So, and I think chat shows are really popular on Whatnot
Mhm.
now.
You do what do you call it? Spilling the tea?
Spill the tea every Friday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
And so Whatnot has a great feature to where you can invite another
Mhm.
person, and then you can have like a dialogue like we're having now. And
Yeah.
you have this show Spilling the Tea where you invite a guest on, and then you talk about
Everything.
reselling and other things. And
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic. And it gets
Well,
a way to get to know both people.
yeah.
And I think that's so cool.
That show was kind of built though because a lot of people here on Whatnot, they don't really open up about their life. So we buy from them and we joke with them, but we don't know a whole lot about them, right?
Mhm.
And some of my best experiences on Whatnot have been when I talk about some of my background and some of my history and some of my stories, and I've developed some really good relationships. So I created that show just so the buyers will get to know the person behind the camera a little bit better. Now, of course, we still talk about reseller tips, but on, more so from a personal standpoint than a business standpoint. So hopefully they can make, new friends and new followers, and it helps their sales.
What made you want to do that?
Is that a question? I really should. Go back to tip number one. Go back to tip number one. Let's just say that. Go back to tip number. People didn't know who I was, right?
Okay.
There was a time where I felt like I was one of the most disliked people and Whatnot, even though it really wasn't true, and it was not anything that I did personally, but it just happened. And I didn't feel like people had a chance to hear anything about me, didn't know anything about me. So I wanted to give people that platform. And I have sellers, my friends, especially on the Foodie Friday train, they'll be like, hey, can I call you? I want to run something by you. And it's usually about how should I handle a situation. Now, I'm no professional. I'm not going to tell you. I can only tell you how I would handle it. And I always felt like their personalities were different when I talked to them than what they were on screen. And I'm like, are you putting on a facade because I like you better on the phone than I do on the screen? So I wanted just to really introduce my audience and other resellers to these people and their beautiful stories, everything that makes a person beautiful, because we are all unique and we are all fantastic and we're all beautiful. And I know that sounds cliche, but the people that I watch religiously, I watch them because I see something in them that makes me want to stay.
Mhm.
Just
I love it. Third tip, Terry.
Source smart. Sourcing for Whatnot can be a beast. You can go broke. And don't start something for $1 unless you're confident you're going to make your money back. We can't all be Noonie. Noonie is the dollar queen.
So could you touch that on that a little more? Like source smart. Like what does that look like to you?
If you go, we have a dollar Kate Spade train coming up, so why not? So we were challenged for a train coming up to run a Kate Spade item at $1, right? where can you find Kate Spade Nuba tags for $1? Well, guess what? You can't. Especially if you're a new seller, you really need to find the deals. You need to find the deals. You need to find what you're comfortable with. Take advantage of those coupons, especially if you hand source. Check with your thrift stores. Go to your bins. You need to lower your cost of goods, and also don't buy junk. Don't just pick up something because, hey, it's only $1. Well, if you're only going to get $1 for it on Whatnot, you're still going to lose money. So it's more about taking time to actually look at what you're purchasing more than quantity. It's quality over quantity every time. You can have a small show of 20 items. They're all freaking boss items and get higher prices than if you had 100 items that are subpar quality.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. Noonie, 3 tips.
Yes. Make sure you enjoy what you're doing. I think, and I'm very fortunate because I do have a full-time job, so I don't have the stress or the pressure of trying to make sure I make my ends meet through Whatnot. So it is hard. But if you enjoy what you're doing, then it'll show, and people will feel good about coming into your shows. I love doing what I do, and eventually it'll work out for you, as long as you're consistent. But I think enjoying it, because if it's like any job, if you don't enjoy doing it, it's gonna show. Your product is gonna come, is gonna get affected and everything. So I think enjoying it is really huge for everybody, for the buyer, for the seller, for just overall. Stay out of the drama. Invite into your chat, into your store, into your room what you have control over, what you allow to happen in your chat. And there is a lot of drama, not a lot, but there's drama. There's mean girls out there. There's people that just really just don't want you to succeed. And I think once you start embracing the good and embracing what positive vibes, and that's what comes in, and you build an army where people don't let that negative vibe come into your space. And not just when I'm saying your space, it's the group of community, the group of ladies that come into your room. And I'm so fortunate that that's what, the ladies that come in, they're all about that. And I love that so much. And I think, gosh, it's really hard to just narrow it down to 3. It really is.
Give me another one. Give me as many as you got, Noonie.
Well,
as many as you got.
Don't compare yourself to others. I think just don't compare yourself to others. If I compared myself to, and there's huge, amazing sellers that are much, much, much bigger than me. If I always compared myself to them, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. And I probably would have lost focus of enjoying what I do and being myself. Cause I'm just not a normal salesperson, I just do me. I buy what I love to wear myself. And so, gosh, there was one more other thing that I wanted to say that was really, really important, but I can't think of it right now. And just, like I said, just have fun, because it really is a interactive chat, interactive sales experience. So if someone, and that's the thing, is if someone pays $1 and you paid $5 for it, don't make them feel bad for buying it for $1.
Yeah.
If they, because maybe that's all they could afford. Maybe that's all that they wanted to support you in some way, and no one else wanted it. So they thought, you know what, I really like you, so I'm going to buy it, just so you get that sale. And just every sale that you make that person feel that you're very grateful. And whatever way you show them, make sure you always show that you're grateful for their purchase and for being in the room. They don't have to buy anything, just chatting is huge.
Yeah. That's interesting that you say that, Noonie, because so on my Saturday shows, I have my brother-in-law help me, and he's usually like behind the computer and I'm showing the items, right? So he's got everything ready to go, like, the next, so it's quick and it's easy. We can run through 100 items, lickety split, right?
Right.
So last Saturday, and I don't think he minds if I tell this story. So last Saturday, I was like, hey, Dustin, why don't you run a couple items, right?
Yeah.
He was getting so upset at the people like not bidding up the items,
Mhm.
and I
Yeah.
was like, quit screaming at the chat, Dustin. And so
Yeah.
when it was over, like I had to have a conversation with them. I'm like, hey
Yeah.
man, you can't talk to the people this way.
Yeah.
It's like they're here for us. They don't got to buy jack.
Right.
You know? And it's like I knew that he didn't mean to, because he knew like the value of an item. Is like, oh come on,
Right.
guys, you know, like this is so and so. It's like nobody wants this, or oh, that went for too low of a money.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear that. And that's what I told him again. I said, man, nobody wants to hear that. You got to be, again, and I'm super grateful, and he is too, but he, you know, sometimes you forget about that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you think of the
No.
dollars, and you're not thinking of the people, you
Right.
know?
Right.
And so I had to remind him, like, hey man, this is a growing thing. Like we're trying to build here. And then the
Right.
people are coming to support us. And you got to treat them that way. They don't have to buy anything.
They
And
don't even
so
have to be there.
they don't even
You
have to be there. I mean, they're taking
Yeah.
time of their Saturday night,
Yeah.
prime time, to watch us morons sell them like iPhone
You
chargers.
know? Yeah.
You
Right.
know? So, you know, we have to like remember that the people are here for us.
Right.
And we have to make sure that we show how grateful that is. And one of the things that I wish that I would have done earlier in my whatnot career, because I was thinking about numbers, because I'm a very number driven kind of person. Like I do accounting in my full time job. So I'm very numbered. I'm very like, all right, what's the price per item? Da, 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 da.
Right.
So giveaways. I never used to do giveaways. In the beginning, I never did giveaways. I'm like, I don't want to give stuff away and then have to pay for the item and pay for it to ship out, you know,
Yeah.
which it was a complete mistake. And I wish that I would have done even more giveaways, because
Yeah.
that's
Right.
a good way to show your appreciation and to grow and just
Yep.
to become a better seller on the platform. And and the platform rewards you when you do giveaways, and more people come on your stream, the algorithm starts kicking in, and they're grateful. And that person that may have not have bought something that stream may want to come back the following week and spend however much money, because they got something for free. And so that's just something for me that I wish I would have done early on to grow quicker, is to do giveaways and just be able to show my appreciation to the buyers way early on.
That's a good point, because I do, like I said, I do tons of giveaways because I am on 8 hours,
Yeah.
and it's really, even if you give the smallest thing, it's still, they're grateful for, well, the majority. I mean, you know, there's people I've been in shows, they're like, what do I get for free? You know, but even if it's the smallest thing, just showing you're grateful. And then especially if it's a buyer's giveaway, 9 out of 10 times you're not paying shipping, because they've already purchased something, and it's pretty much, you're not paying for their shipping. I can tell you right now, on an average of probably 25 to 30 giveaways I do during a show, the most I've ever spent on shipping for giveaways is $75 for 25, 30 giveaways.
That's really good. That's really good.
And of course you got, you know, whatever you give to them, but you know, you can give them, there's so many different things that you can give them as appreciation. Doesn't have to be like, you know, a $10 item. It can be something as small as, I give out chapstick a lot. I love giving out, but you know, just anything. Or if it's an extra piece of clothing that you have, or something that, you know, that you wanted to just, you know, donate, but maybe that other person may like it, and that's their free gift. There's just so many ways to give as a buyer's giveaway. And for me, it hasn't been such a huge cost, but I love doing it. I love, because it gives them a chance to play to enter, for you to show the appreciation. And I do the regular giveaway. Those can be costly depending on, you know, but yeah, I think everybody should really kind of look into buyer's giveaway, especially because it may offset in cost, but then also regular giveaways to bring in more people and to show appreciation, those who cannot purchase or didn't purchase. Giveaways
Now,
are huge.
I do a lot of regular giveaways. I'm kind of been guilty of that. I think the most I ever gave away in a week was like 90. But but for me, it was a tool to grow my business. And
Mhm.
Mhm.
I
Marketing.
found
Yeah.
it's kind of 50-50 now. It used to be less, but as I've gotten a little bigger, about half the time when somebody wins a giveaway, they will use that discounted shipping,
Yeah.
which, is important to me because I've been seeing a lot more first time buyers that way.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
that's
Yep.
really the goal, is to intrigue new buyers and keep your older ones.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. Well, guys, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. Thank you all so much for coming on. We're almost at an hour. So for just the last thing for you guys as business owners here on this Whatnot platform, what do you see? Like, do you have a goal in mind? Do you just kind of like trying to have fun and just sell as much stuff as you can? Like a year from now, like what do you hope to accomplish? And that's always the way that I like to end these podcasts. Like, what are some goals that you have, for yourself and for your reselling business?
It's so weird to say business owner because essentially
Yeah.
we are. And I
Yeah.
don't
Oh
see
yeah.
myself as that. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm just selling clothes and I'm having fun and making friends. That's how I see it. If I were to be able to just kind of snap my fingers and things would happen, I would do Whatnot full time. That I would love to do. I would probably do shipping is what not I wouldn't say struggle, but that I have a challenge because it takes me quite a bit of time working full time on top of
Yeah.
that. And my kids refuse to help me. So that's the other part. They refuse to help because I'm too picky. So if I could do it, I would do Whatnot full time. I would do maybe I wouldn't do it every day, but I'd maybe do 2 or 3 shows a week. And because I love it. I absolutely I love the thrifting, I love the finding, I love the communication, I love the chat, I love the friends, I love everything about it. I really do.
I
That
love it.
would be
What about
And
you,
and for me,
Terry?
I kind of want to scale from where I'm at. So when I quit selling on the other platforms, the year before this last year, I sold $168,000 worth of stuff. This last year, I sold under 90, and that's because I went solely to Whatnot. So I need to scale back up to where I'm at. But my ultimate goal is to get everything out of my house. I want to get like a building or something, my
Mhm.
own office, and just get it out of my house because I want my house back. And my daughter now is a seller on here too, so it'd be a great place, kind of like almost like a studio, because that's essentially what Whatnot is. You need a studio,
yeah.
and a place I can have everything organized. So that's my goal. That's my short-term goal. So I'm hoping to be able to do that by the end of next year.
That's a great
I'm
goal.
hoping
I
to do
know.
it this week for me. Clean my house.
Terry, just to add on to that, I would say halfway into our Whatnot journey, I ran into that issue as well, to where if I'm going to really go gung ho on this, we have to have another place where we're doing it. Because before
Yes.
we were doing it here in
Yes.
my home office, and when we would get done, there would just be piles of stuff like
Yeah.
everywhere, and it was like grabbing it and moving it and shipping it. Like you touched the items way too many times, and it was
Yeah.
just not worth it. So finally, we do have a space to where we have all of our shipping stuff, all of our everywhere we do the Whatnot out of, and it is like my mental health is just so much better.
Yeah.
I think
It's
mine will
just
be too.
it just
Same.
helps so much. It just helps so
Same.
much. I know that tomorrow we're going to be doing a Whatnot, which it's a little early, so I think I may have to do it here, but we'll see. We'll see. Which I kind of like. The room is, like I have all this
It looks
crap
nice.
everywhere. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like that's the reason why. Like another reason why I think it would do well here, or maybe I can just do like a talk thing. Like I want to be able to utilize my home office a little better, and maybe I'm going to start doing some Whatnots where, like you said, get to know me a little better
Yeah.
and just talk. And I think that's really going to help. But guys, thank you so much. This has been so much fun.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to do this. Where
Thanks.
can the people find you if they want to
Whatnot.
Yeah, on Whatnot.
Whatnot.
Evolving House on Whatnot, Noonie Bird on Whatnot.
On what-
And we
you know-
get to Noonie and I will get to meet each other soon this summer. So
Oh,
we'll
okay.
be
That
together
sounds like
soon.
fun. That sounds like fun.
If
So
not
guys-
in April,
Big wedding coming.
we'll-
Big wedding coming.
That's right.
big
That's
wedding.
right. That's right. So, guys, if you want to follow these amazing women, their whatnots are down in the description below. So make sure you check them out, bookmark all their shows, and check out what they have going on, because they're absolutely a blast. And as you heard, all the wealth of knowledge that they have to help you grow on this whatnot platform. And if you're just one more thing before we get out of here, guys. And this just came to my head. For someone that may be thinking about selling on the platform and they may have some struggles with it, what's something that you can say to them that's going to encourage them? Be like the football coach. Be like the coach that's just kind of like root them together. Like get them going. Like what's some things that they could do?
A person
be
who
on the
never
fence.
quit. Look, a person who never quits never fails. You just get
Ooh.
back up and go again. Your show doesn't go right one day, go again. Eventually it will go right. I promise you. We love seeing people struggle on that app. We love seeing them grow. I've watched so many people from their beginning to where they are now, and it's just a beautiful thing.
Find your people. Find your people. They have your back. Terry and I were buddies. Our group, even though we're a tight group, we still have people outside of the group that we're tight with. And greatness follows greatness. Kind people follow kind people. Find your people. You're good people, and you know who they are. Those that want to see you succeed. Find your people. They will back you up. They will follow you, and they will help you. And like if you find them, go into the chats and you'll connect with people and you'll know that's my person.
There you go. Collaboration, not competition, right, guys?
Yep. 100%. Yes.
There you go. Well, guys, thank you so much. Make sure you follow these amazing ladies. And like always, my name is Ray. Point to whichever one. Noonie, Evolving Farmhouse, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side. See y'all, and God bless.
Bye. Thank you.